Christmas.
My Christmas list.
Christmas list.
Today we're covering...
It does feel like Christmas. Oh, Christmas in July. Except now it's August.
Christmas in July.
We missed it. Happy belated Christmas in July.
It's our July. It's your August.
It's August. Hi, welcome to the Sex Ed for You podcast, where research meets reality.
This is the podcast for people who want to date and have great sex that is safe, fun, and enjoyable.
We want to empower our listeners to make informed decisions that lead to values-based living, and that is kind of what all of today's episode's about.
It is.
We're excited. I'm Lauren. I am a certified holistic sexuality educator.
And the owner and educator here at Sex Ed for You.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's what she does full time, baby. And I am our Chief Culture and Content Coordinator here at Sex Ed for You, which means you'll be emailing me a lot. If you have questions about any of these, please feel free to email me, admin@sexedforyou.com.
Make sure to follow this podcast, subscribe, all that juicy stuff, and follow us on Instagram at sexedforyou, which you can find by going to sex_ed_for_you. You should just be able to search us right now because we're on the up and up with the IGs, but who knows when you find this podcast and if we've been shadow banned for some reason.
Yes.
So that's exactly how you can find us.
Which is why we're doing this today. Well, not really why, but
part of rant though, yeah.
Part of my why. Because these items that we are about to tell you, these things on my Christmas list in July they should be more accessible. They are small businesses. They are well-rounded. They are accessible. They are diverse. They are incredibly run by people who are of a similar vein as we are, like very kind and have joy for the world and literally want better things for this earth. That is the people who run these companies. Mm-hmm. And they are incredible. They are ethical. They are beautiful. And if you Googled sexual health, not a single one of these would pop up because people like us are shadow banned. We are told not to put proper words. We can't use the word vagina. We can't use the word sex because it's banned poorly. Like AI, maybe it's just that AI hasn't evolved enough to distinctualize between what we do and what like porn is. But it is so frustrating to not be able to give you and find resources that are reliable and well run and beautiful. And that's because we are kind of lumped into a category of unwanted things on the internet. And so it's impossible to find us not only on Instagram, on Google, things like that, depending on the day and your AI, but it is also difficult to find things like OhNuts, things like Lorals, things like Momotaro. And so today we are bringing to you a supremely comprehensive podcast of every single one of our favorite products so that you don't have to go looking anymore. From now on, if you're looking for a recommendation, we're just going to send you this episode.
Seriously, because I don't know how this even started. We were talking about some new product. Maybe a good company recently sent me a menstrual disc / cup, and I think that might have been one of the ways that started it. I've been trying it on my menstrual cycle and loving it. And there are so many tried and true products that I recommend to clients every day and that we send to people who ask us. And it's ridiculous that this isn't easier to find. So we thought, let's just do a whole podcast on our favorite things. So you're welcome. There is a place on our website, isn't there?
Don't SEFY's favorites.
Yeah, we have a SEFY's favorites, and it's actually visited quite often. But Helen's right. It's interesting when you start to dig in and study our culture's sex negativity and where that lies. And I think folks who follow our content know that we are not anti-faith. We are not. But I deeply believe that we need to look at the things that restrict our access to comprehensive, inclusive, sex-positive products and look at the why behind this. And most of it is greed, power, and sex negativity. I think that as a comprehensive sexuality educator and as a platform like ours, it's very important that we do talk about the developmentally right times to be using so many of these products. But saying just don't talk about it because sex is bad makes it harder to find beautiful products, makes it harder to find ethically made, sustainable, medical grade, beautiful products, and makes me sad, makes me angry. It also it's just so sex negative. It only hurts people. We talk all the time about research, and one of my favorite articles that is one that I found in a journal that is called Just Good Sex. And it talks about the fact that when we it's not polite to talk about that. It's not polite to talk about that. All we do is continue to perpetuate harm against people who have been silenced for centuries. Mm-hmm. People in power will continue to have the access to reproductive health care and sexual, playful things forever. If they get to have it, we should all have it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I hope this podcast leads to today, is folks saying, oh my goodness, okay, yes, I am getting it on this mailing list, this mailing list. Email lists are great things to be on because you can talk directly with the creator of these products. And yeah, all of these, even if they're not small anymore, because some of these brands that we're going to talk about have been bought out by larger brands, and you can get on Amazon, things like that. But we just want you to know about them. And yeah, we want to be able to use this podcast as a resource for our clients.
It's so exciting for me to be able to look at this list, because even just 2 years ago when I was a senior in college, I was wondering and hoping for something, and I didn't know what it was. Mm-hmm. Like, I knew there were things that could make my life easier, but I didn't know how. And this list is those things. This list is a comprehensive list of things that they may not change your life, but it's going to truly make an impact on the way you see your body and treat your body. And those are just unspoken and beautiful.
Yeah. We should all grow up knowing that these things exist. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of these products have been so mindfully made, mm-hmm. and we deserve to know that they are out there, because sex can and should be beautiful and pleasurable. And it is not instantly beautiful and pleasurable for all people. Sometimes we have to work at it. Sometimes we need a tool or a toy to understand our body more deeply, to find our first orgasm, to expand our anatomy in a way that makes way for something that we want to enjoy. And we need to know that these products are on the market.
Yeah, information. This is a great example of information being power. This is a way that you can tangibly change something about your life. And if you don't know that it exists, then you can't make that change. I would really love to start with like the games.
I was literally thinking, I think so many of us still, and I would love for the audience to take a minute. Okay, so Holland and Lauren are going to talk about toys. We're going to talk about different things you can put inside your body. I would love for you all to think about what is happening in you right now. Are you getting excited? Are you leaning forward? Are you getting cringy? Do you feel your pelvic floor like squeezing up and like, I don't know if I even want to listen to this episode? Like, pay attention to that in your body. I think that so many of us, when we think sex toy, we immediately go to like handcuffs and like whips and pom-poms. Those are fine. But I think that's where most people's minds go. There's not a single one of those things on this shelf in front next to Holland. Those are fun. We can talk about toys for role play and for playing pretend on a different podcast. Yeah. That's not what we're talking about today. We're literally going to talk about the mind and the body and anatomy and safer sex practices, things like this. And it's just funny, right? It's the same thing as when you ask someone to tell you about pleasure and they just immediately kind of recoil. Mm-hmm. Pleasure can be a walk outside. It
could be eating ice cream.
It can be a deep breath.
Oh, it's my coffee in the morning.
Yes. The first sip.
Yes.
So... yeah, let's actually all do this before we launch in. Mm-hmm. Everybody take a deep breath. Everybody bring your shoulders up. Notice what you're feeling in your body. And then chances are, if Holland or I sent you this podcast, you're in need of some of these things on this list. And it's okay to have needs, wants, and desires. And yeah, I think the games are a great place to start.
Yay.
So let's begin.
So
what are we talking about?
If you have listened to this podcast even once, you probably know that every conclusion we come to begins with communication. We just want you to fucking talk, okay? Like, please talk. It is step one in everything we ever tell anybody. Like, just talk. Wheel of consent, Dr. Betty Martin. That is step one to getting into sexuality education, liberated life, getting into Adrienne Marie Brown's liberated principles of a liberated.
You got it. Partnership.
Dang it.
You were so close.
So close. Anyway, everything is all about communication. And so a great way to get started, because it can be intimidating. Like, what questions do I ask? What do I say? I don't know how to talk to somebody about sex. Great. We have a game for you. We have multiple games for you, actually. So
many.
We're going to start. You want to start with this one?
Yeah.
This is not necessarily for partners. This is called We're Not Really Strangers. You can get on Amazon. The link is going to be below. By the way, the links are for everything.
All of the links are below.
Every single link is going to be below. So this is the We're Not Really Strangers game. This has 3 different levels. Mm-hmm, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they start out, they grow in risk. And so in our field, we would call this graduated risk, which is really fun. It's meant to be played with a group, but you could totally play it with a lover on a date. Holland and I have played before. Mm-hmm. The first one is, what kind of assumptions do you want to make about me?
Perception.
Right? Mm-hmm.
So that looks like questions like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how messy do you think my car is? 1 being clean, 10 being a complete disaster. Explain.
So as you can see, these are great like first date questions. Mm-hmm. These are great games for groups. So fun. So you're making a guess about other people.
Yeah.
Right? So I would be making that guess about Holland.
And then if we were playing in a group, like everyone would go around and guess about how messy my car is. And then I like to play it where I'd be like, I would say my car is a 3, you know? And so then you answer the question for everybody.
So precious.
It's very fun.
Really fun. And the earlier on in getting to know people, the better.
Oh, for sure. And then level 2 is called connection. Mm-hmm. So that gets a little bit deeper. And it is about the person that you're asking. So if you could have it your way, who would you be with? Where would you be? And what would you be doing?
This right now. I'm living my dream life.
Podcasting with Holland in the podcast room.
Yep. Seriously. So that one's going to be, you ask someone, they get to tell you about themselves. It's beautiful. When I play it with Trey or when I play it with Holland, we also Holland would get to answer the same question, but you don't have to do it that way. And then the third one goes back to the same format as the first round. Mm-hmm. It's just far more intimate questions.
Reflection is what it's called in here. What answer of mine made you light up?
Yeah.
What a good question.
So precious, and allows people to be known, allows people to tell you who they are. I think one of the things I find in long-term partnerships that I work with the most is that people presume to already know what somebody else thinks about something. So whether you are newly dating or in a long-term partnership, highly recommend We're Not Really Strangers.
It's one of my favorites.
We play it here
all the time. Like we're like having dinner.
We're like having dinner. Hey. We're like, here's a card game.
Because especially in partnership, I feel like you can get to this point where you're like, I've learned everything about you. We've talked about our days. Because that's the go-to, right? You get home from work or you get on your date and you're like, well, how was work? How is your uncle? How is this? And then you're not really digging into knowing. And these are questions that typically you're not going to ask somebody.
No, I was going to say the reason we played it most recently is Holland and I had a long work day. I want to say it was one of our Tuesday days. And I was making dinner, invited her to stay for dinner, but I didn't want us to sit around the table and just talk about more work. And it would be so natural for Trey to sit down and be like, how was the work day? We'd had enough talk of work. Yep. It was nice to move into other things. It was so fun. Yeah. It's such a good decompression. And yet sometimes we're just tired and thinking of random questions about our cars I just don't have the capacity for. No. So I love that game. And totally non-sexual.
There's completely. That one is non-sexual. I think Date Deck gets a little bit more spicy. So this is our next one. This is called the Date Deck. It is also on Amazon. And the link will be below. It is said on the front. It's so beautifully made. This packaging is gorgeous.
The cards feel like almost like silky.
Oh, they're so beautiful. Lovely. It says a tool that sparks meaningful conversations with your special someone. Very good. And they are color coded. I love color coding. So we have our levels, and there's
tell you about it.
a little pamphlet Love a pamphlet. So it starts with number 1 and it's gray. And it's called Break the Ice. Number 2 is yellow. It says Play It Safe. Number 3 is green. It says Let's Get Edgy. Number 4, Risky Business. That's blue. And number 5, Exposed. That's red. So let's get a Break the Ice question. Oh my God, they're so pretty.
They feel so good in the hands. I'm not kidding, y'all. Yeah. They actually feel lovely.
Oh, this is a good one. What do you remember most about our first date?
Oh,
Lauren, what do you remember most about our first date?
That I had forgotten about it. That's what I remember most. And that my sister and her boyfriend were in town because it was Christmas time. And my calendar reminder went off and it said, in 10 minutes, you're meeting with a potential intern. And I said, oh my. Oh, so I sent my kid into the mall by herself.
Yep.
What do you remember most about our first date?
Pacing around my room beforehand, thinking about like what I was going to say. Because I always worry about the tell me about yourself question. Yeah. So I was fully anticipating that. Also at this time, I didn't know that it was only you in the Sex Ed for You business. I fully thought that this was like a business run by many people. So I was getting prepared to have like many people on this call and them saying, tell me about yourself. So I was just pacing around my room like, okay, I'm from Waco, Texas. I'm from like literally going through my little facts and about why I wanted to work for you, because I knew for some reason, something in me knew I was going to have to kind of convince you to get me.
Yeah, but that was only because I was like, how am I going to manage an intern?
Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2. What do you cherish most about our relationship?
Oh,
such a good cue.
That you do things like this, like what you did today. She's like, okay, this is what the whole podcast is going to be about, and here we go. Da-da-dum. Yeah.
Da-da-da. Oh.
Yeah. No, I really do. I cherish how much you know yourself and what you want to do. It's lovely.
I think, what do I cherish most about you? I cherish so many things.
I know. That was like a random, I'm like, do I cherish that most? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
cherish that. I can't say that this is the most, but I cherish how much you value people. You make people feel seen and loved really well. Like even like customer service workers. I mean, when we go to that little sandwich shop and they're like you know them and you make them feel known and seen, and it is so beautiful to witness.
Thank you.
So you guys have good conversations.
Yeah, I do love that a lot.
Number 3, let's get edgy. These are probably not going to be questions Lauren and I answer for each other. Oh, no, this is good. What are you most embarrassed about?
Ooh. I guess if the podcast audience doesn't know this yet, I don't have a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
And in original sex school, you know, it was something that we were all encouraged to step into, this idea that our greatest embarrassments, our greatest fears might be the very thing that puts somebody else at ease. And yet in my field full of very nerdy, knowledgeable, wise human beings who have used a lot of their lives to achieve these higher ed degrees, still always sits in an embarrassing pocket in my body. Yeah. Because I value the learning process so much, and I value knowledge and research deeply. Just the 4-year degree track did not work for me in the season that I was pursuing it. And I have continued to pour money and investment into schooling, but that track has never, come around for me. So
I don't think it would benefit you at this point.
I just don't. Yeah. I remember my chief operating officer at the big nonprofit that eventually acquired me said, now you have so many years of field experience that it would almost be odd. Yeah. And he continually said, a waste of your time for the things that, I wish there was some, there's often various tracks to things. And I just wish there was a various track, right? Yeah. To submit some type of portfolio, to put some letters behind a name. But it's embarrassing. What's the most embarrassing thing?
Currently, my car.
Oh.
Isn't that so silly? But like I hit a deer in November, y'all. Welcome to Virginia. And I just never got it fixed because it was cosmetic. And so there's that. And then my my door is broken and it makes a really loud noise every time I lock it because it's the lock that's broken. And so it goes, and so anytime I like wait till I get as far away as possible to lock my car, or I know that like when I hit 15 miles an hour, all the doors auto lock. So like if there's someone cute on the sidewalk, I'm like going like 14 miles an hour. And then when I turn the corner, I'm like, okay, are they gone? Are they gone? Okay, now I can hit 15 and let it fart. Literally sounds like my car's farting. It's horrible. I'll get it fixed eventually. But right now, every time I get in my car, I'm like, gosh, dang it. This does not look how I want it to look, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's my most embarrassing thing.
We've all been there. Yeah, we've all been there.
Okay, number 4, risky business. Or did we already do this one?
Mm-mm.
Okay. What surprising thing have I brought out in you?
Ooh. Maybe, you know this, I don't think we've shared this exact thing, but I have worked in leadership roles before, like business leadership, but have never done it with as much consent training. And so I think you have brought out in me a kind of a backbone and that I never knew I could have, that also feels loving. Yeah. So this idea that like, no, we don't gripe and moan and complain. We change our future. We are the authors of our narrative. Yeah. And that there can be this idea of consenting business practices. What? Yeah, that.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see. I feel like it's gotten more and more as we've built our relationship and built the business too. Like, you can tell me when I'm doing something wrong, and you will. And it's beautiful. And it's never like harmful or rude or cruel. It's always like, hey, you're not doing this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. I'll fix that. And then we fix it. I mean, see last 3 episodes.
Go reference.
Like,
yeah,
I
think you specifically have brought that out in me because no one else works for me.
Just me.
So yeah, you've brought that out, and it's taken a special human, because I don't think everyone would say, oh yeah, no, you're right. Thank you for pointing that out. This is what I will do to change it, which is just accident and violation and resolving consent accidents are totally a no-brainer if you can have the humility and the belief in self to say, ooh, thank you. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Didn't know that. Didn't mean to do that. It's wild, not robbing people of their agency. How consenting and beautiful it is. Wow.
I would say, I think you've brought out like pride in myself, which is backwards a little bit. It's like I don't know, seeing your pride in me and your faith in me in a lot of ways and just like you lift me up. And you tell me I'm capable, not even by like telling me, but like you just believe in me. And yeah, I feel like I have grown so much confidence and pride through this job and through all of the things that we learn, all the modalities, all of the books, the book clubs, the articles I'm reading. Like I just feel so well equipped, and I think you've been a really big part of that.
Thank you. Thanks. You're welcome. Do you guys see what's happening because of these cards? Like, do you feel it? Because we do.
And then this is our last one. This is called Exposed.
Which are definitely sexual in this one.
No, they're not. They're like just really deep. Like very like, almost like I'm scared to ask them.
You're not okay. If you're really playing, you shouldn't do what Holland's doing.
No. You should not sift. I'm literally sifting through them.
She's just trying to find one appropriate for the air.
I want to show you the good ones. Ooh, tell me about the most defining moment in your life. See, that's exposing.
Huh. Okay, I was gonna say a sad one, but I will always come back to this one. There was a moment in September 2018. Yeah. And it was looking pretty clear that I was absolutely going to be filing for divorce October 2018. And I was in this teeny tiny basement apartment and had no money. And yet I was all alone. Like I was truly all alone. My child was with her father, and I was scrubbing this hardwood floor, and only the screen door was open. This beautiful breeze was wafting through the door. And I thought I should feel utterly alone and completely despairing. And I don't. I feel like if this is the worst things could possibly get, I'm in a basement apartment sharing a bed with my daughter. I have nothing to my name. I've had to be putting everything on a credit card because my husband took away my funding. I'm like penniless. Yes, my business had been acquired. Like that was about to happen in November, but like I could have fallen through. And I felt this like overwhelming joy. And I thought, well, if this is the worst thing, like if this is rock bottom, if this is what people tell you is horrible, then I'm going to be okay. And I think it was defining because I thought anything else that ever happens, if I build something and then it crashes, if I try something and then it crashes, or if I don't succeed, or if I start dating someone and then they leave me too. Oh, well, this is the thing that everybody's afraid of, this. And I had on my own music. I was singing probably Broadway songs and scrubbing my floor, and nobody was telling me what to do. And I was in joy. Yeah. And I thought,
so beautiful.
Okay, let's do it. Mm-hmm. And then, so many things happened, and now here we are. Yeah. And I would be okay. Like that moment. Years. Yeah, it was only 6 years. Oh, crazy.
It's been 6 years. Wow.
Crazy. Anyway.
So beautiful.
Defining moment. Yeah.
I feel like I have so many.
I had to choose one.
Yeah. I very rapidly go through defining moments. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, an easy one, moving here for
sure.
myriad of reasons. But I think like truly defining moment would have been October of fall seems to be a recurring theme here. Mm-hmm. October of 2022, when I had just gotten out of a relationship. I quit birth control. I emailed Lauren. Mm-hmm. But I was like, just all of these things were rapidly changing around me. And I felt so powerless and yet so much happier than I'd ever been. And control is such a thing for me. So having this relationship end, like this relationship that I thought was going to be the relationship, and that ending in a way that felt like it was right. And I was like, why does this feel correct? Like, I don't understand, because for 2 years I thought this was my person. Like, I thought that this was going to be the man that I marry. And yet when we finally broke up, I was like, holy crap, like this feels right in my body. And it was weird. And then I went off of birth control, the pill, and I felt so much more energized, and I felt like myself in a way that I hadn't ever in recollection. My depression was not nearly as bad that year. I have very like seasonal kind of cycles with depression and mental health, and it just like all of these things were happening, and I just was like, oh, I also was taking that class. I was taking the sexual health class with Dr. Milstein, Dr. Sue Milstein. She's incredible. And I was like, I think like it felt like all of the pieces were coming together. Mm-hmm. It was the moment that I can point to and say, that is where my journey began. Because the relationship ended. I got off of hormonal birth control, which does a lot to your brain, by the way. Took a human sexuality class with Dr. Milstein at Texas A&M and saw that human sexuality could be a field. Like, I am allowed to do that as a job. That had never crossed my mind. I had always thought something with health, something with sexuality, because I had always leaned there, but I didn't know that education in and of itself could be that. I thought I was going to have to just work in the public health department or something. But yeah, like understanding and seeing that people did this for a living was just life-changing for me. And then I found you, like almost immediately after, emailed you, started working with you. Mm-hmm. It was just this whole thing. It was just beautiful. And I can just look at that and say that's where the pieces began to fall together. And it felt like, oh, Like, this has been waiting for me this whole time. Everything I've been through, all the shit that I've dealt with, all of my life has led me to this moment. And it felt like, oh my God, I'm finally there. I'm finally on the track that I've been searching for my whole life. And now I'm here. Get date cards, y'all.
Get those. As you can see.
So yeah, we really like the best self ones. That's the ones we just went through. And then this intimacy deck, Lauren really loves this one. You want to talk about why you love this one so much?
I do. It's very similar. Maybe this is the one that I was thinking would have.
That one has sexy cards.
Yes.
It's by the same
exact company. Same exact company.
The one we just did is the date deck. This is the
It's
intimacy
smaller.
card.
When I will tell you that when Trey and I go on dates, we just each I grab like 2 or 3 from every color and we just stick them in a pocket. And then we just pull them out like on a date.
This one's purse sized.
You really could throw it in a
The
purse.
date deck is purse sized for sure. It's only 50 cards. That one's many more. I want to say probably 200.
The categories are past, random, life, relationship, intimacy, and about you. That's interesting.
Same colors, very fun.
What's your favorite sexual memory of us? Yeah, the red in this one is more spicy. If you could have a magic wand, what would you want more of in your sex life? Describe something you'd hate to do for real but find kinky to think about. Yeah, fun. That's just the nature of a fantasy, y'all. Fantasy are not necessarily what we'd want to do in real life. What famous person would you want to hall pass to sleep with? It's really fun.
Renee Rapp.
These are fun.
Easy.
So,
Renee Rapp, period.
yeah, how would you like to be comforted when you feel down? Yeah, these are fun. So I'd say that's a little safer. Like new dates, these are much more you're in relationship.
Yeah.
What's an area about me that you'd like to learn more about or have questions around? I love these.
So good.
We've had these for a really long time and they're so fun.
And then our very last one is new.
Very on the bottom. It's like behind. We love this product.
These are incredible, y'all. We met with the founder, Natasha, the other day. She is beautiful, by the way, both inside and out. Look at this box.
It's so beautiful.
It is delightful. It is inclusive. It is lovely. Here's our little inside.
I just can't. It's so well packaged.
They're hand drawn by
Just
an
beautiful.
artist. There's 2 categories for this one. It's just less deep and deeper. There's a pamphlet that tells you how to go through it. First level, warm things up with thoughtful questions and actions safe for both new and long-term relationships. Second level, spice it up by learning more about each other's desires and exploring new adventures in your sex life. Beautiful. And the art is different on every single card. They are the most delightful.
They're literally like you could frame the cards and put them around your house.
Oh my God. And they're all, caress my hair and or give me a scalp massage for 2 minutes as I guide you to do what feels best. How incredible. It's like a 3-minute game mini. It's beautiful. That was the first section. And the second section, stand facing each other, touching stomach to stomach. Take 5 deep breaths together as you relax and create a sense of safety. Embrace each other when you're done. Like, how cool is, and like, yes, I bet even my body was kind of like, why do you think that? Why did your body do, are you too embarrassed to do that with your partner? Does that feel vulnerable? Maybe let's dig into that in therapy or with Lauren. sexedforyou.com/free consult. I love these cards. I think they're beautiful. They really encourage you to become vulnerable with your partner. And that is something that we really encourage here. So.
Wonderlust. We will link them below. Love, love, love them. Again, graduated risk and yet definitely made for an intimate or sexual partner. I am sure you could do everything and just keep clothes on, but definitely made to increase sexual intimacy. And they're really beautiful. And again, such a sweet find.
Yep. Okay, let's move into some toys. Let's do sex toys and tools. I've got these categorized on a little pamphlet. So if I'm staring at my lamp, that's what I'm looking at.
Let's do it.
Let's do OhNuts.
Let's do it. Okay, so before we take them down, so OhNut and Kiwi are now both under the umbrella of the Pelvic people. They have done a beautiful rebrand. And OhNuts have been around for a long time now, but Kiwi is their newest tool, and they're a suite of tools for people with pain, with initial penetration or deep penetration. And we'll show you how some of these work because they are game changers.
So this is the Kiwi. You have more experience with her, so I'll let you give a little demo. Kiwi. And we also have our little OhNuts.
We do.
Somewhere? On something? Oh.
Because I wanted them to be displayed.
Do you want me to do that
sure.
while we do this? Y'all, if you want to watch someone put OhNuts on, watch me. Lauren's going to show you the Kiwi.
All right. So Kiwi is one of the very first on the market ever like this. So it vibrates in 2 different places. It vibrates down here at this base. Would be a great, like, just neck. Oh my God, it feels so good. Okay, so this is wide. This would be great for the inner thighs. This would be great for external. This would be great for pubic mons, inner thighs, side of the labia, all this type of stuff. Perineal massage. Lovely, lovely, lovely. There's 3 settings, just like normal. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there might be 4. All right, and then we can also get a vibration going in here, which is much more rumbly. Okay, so what Kiwi is infamous for is allowing there to be vibration as well as a tiny bit, like just the tip of penetrative work here. So there's been a lot of tools like dilators on the market. There's been a lot of tools for entry pain and deep pain, and those have been great. None of them have vibrated like this. None of them have included pleasure in the equation, which when I talk with our clients, I'm always saying arousal is one of the things that helps our vaginas tent and balloon. Arousal is one of the things that relaxes our pelvic floor. So to experience arousal with doing a little bit of slight entry penetration is really wonderful. Really, really wonderful. So yes, this is definitely a tool to reduce pain with penetration. But it's also really nice. It also just feels real, real, real good. And I like to tell my clients to use it all around like I'm doing here, not just like jab it in.
Yeah. And then also by the pelvic people, we have OhNuts. This is obviously not a life-size penis, but it is, we have our little...
Do you even try?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, go.
So what OhNuts do is they create a suction around the penis and like a little bit of tension. So that gives the penis owner a little bit of pizzazz, kind of like a cock ring. And then, but the purpose of it is to stop from deeper penetration. So like what Lauren said, people who have issues with deep penetration, and also some penises are just really long. OhNuts are great because they stop the penis. Oh, sorry, my little
Your notes.
thing is fallen. They stop the penis where the OhNuts are. So like this would only go to here, right? And so that creates, it's easier for the person with the penis to penetrate in a way that is not hindering. They're not have to think about it as much because it's just stopping them. They are very comfortable. They're silicone. Lauren's had one in her for more than 24 hours before, so we know that they're safe. Oh,
they do fly off.
I just threw it. Okay.
This was the problem. This is what happened.
They are very stretchy. They don't hurt. They're very soft and like jelly. Think jelly bears, okay? Maybe a little bit even softer than that. And they're very comfy. They stack. You get 4 in a little container like this, or 3.
4. No, I know that's 3, but they definitely come 4 to a pack. They hook together, which is so nice. And ideally they stay together. They do fly off when you're taking them off, especially if there's fluids present, which was how one accidentally, mistakenly got left up inside my vaginal fornix.
Don't worry, you can find that podcast episode where she tells the whole story
below. We'll link it.
I made myself an OhNut crown in that one. Remember that?
Yeah. They're really fantastic.
Okay.
And especially when we have...
This is like a good 2
So glad this is here. When our muscle group, I'm going to try to not get right here. is really nice and tight. This is so perfect because the person with the penis is going to feel this beautiful engulfment of the penis that is not being engulfed by the vaginal canal, but it's being engulfed by the OhNuts. So they're still getting that stimulation, that friction. They're very similar to the same types of materials that would be inside like a fleshlight and stuff like that. So it's a nice jelly material. I highly recommend lubing up the penis before putting the OhNuts on, just so they slide on really easily. But other than that, they're really self-explanatory and have saved so many people with, just fear of deep penetration. They're so great.
Beautiful. OhNuts. Dunsies.
Kiwi. Favorite. I do have a code, STRETCHY. We'll put it below, but it definitely is, I think, for 15% off or maybe 10% off your first purchase of a Kiwi or OhNuts.
Yay. And then if we're going down that route, I actually would love to pull out our Intimate Rose because we're pelvic health already. This is the Intimate Rose wand. Lauren has a ton of experience with this. I'm just passing her things. You want to hand me Kiwi?
Sure.
Thanks, darling.
So Intimate Rose, shout out to another female-founded, incredible company. Intimate Rose makes a ton of dilators, and that's probably what they're most well known for. And dilators, we don't have any here today, but if just think about, they are little wands and they grow in size. They start out about as small as a pinky and then grow up to a very large cock size. But these special tools are to help release different muscle groups inside the pelvis. So you would insert it just like this, but then if it was movable, you could use it to access different places inside of yourself, which is so nice. I have a hamstring injury, and this has helped heal the hamstring injury because I can put it inside and then twist it, and then it's over here. This one vibrates. Intimate Rose makes vibrating ones. They make heating and cooling ones. And then they make a standard one that absolutely doesn't do anything. They are designed to hit trigger points. And when we start to think of the body as just another piece of our body, it's amazing because just like people would go to PT for tennis elbow or go to PT for their shoulder blade because they're playing golf, we should be able to understand that there is PT for our pelvic floor. There's nothing at all wrong with us. We are very sedentary people. We don't do a lot of squatting. We don't do a lot of things that open and release and relax our pelvis. We do a lot of tightening. But things like this are incredible. We love them. If you go, Intimate Rose has a YouTube channel as well, and there are so many instructional videos in there, and we love their products. But like Colin said earlier, I find that many of my clients don't know about them, and they are incredible.
Yeah. And also, since we're already in the pelvic floor, let's talk about our little diagram.
Right. Yes. Now, this would definitely be, if you're a visual learner like Colin and I, we will link it below. It is definitely a teaching tool. It is meant... I'm going to glue mine, but it has little Velcro bits, so you can literally see the pelvic bowl. I like it. It might be really neat for, if you're a visual learner, for you to show a partner, a lover, because they might not understand how intricate your pelvic bowl is, and that it's not just that you're tight right here at the vaginal entrance. It's hard to see here. It might be really helpful for them to see how much is really going on in there, which is why we have pelvic floor physical therapy for people with penises too. And you can use this anally as well to do the same types of internal releases. Guys, it's a game changer. We all deserve to have beautiful, flourishing pelvic health. And I do think that this model is one of the best things I've ever seen. Most of the teaching models that they make for people in our field are kind of like a body cut in half. So you're kind of seeing half of the body. That's not helpful when we're trying to figure out all of the intricacies. And sometimes we'll call it the pelvic sling because it's literally like this. And this is very helpful. So we'll link it and we'll also fix it.
The last thing in our little health and wellness pelvic floor category is this Momotaro Salve. We religiously tell people about this.
Religiously.
This is life-changing. This will change your life, actually. I take back what I said earlier. This...
It's like, what was most life-changing?
Yes.
The day I used the salve.
The day I started using the salve after I shave. So, yeah, this is incredible. I think, especially as vulva having peeps. We have some undies that are not comfy all the time, or you have to wear a specific type of underwear for a specific type of pants. You have irritants. You're having sex. Sex, for one, oh my God, can really, really, really frustrate the vulvular area. Yep. And so this salve, we have these little samples. If you want one, honestly, we'll mail one to you. Send me your address. It is just the most lovely, like almost like Vaseline type of consistency. And then when you rub it in, it just like, oh my gosh, it just like disappears.
And it smells like heaven. It is not off-putting because it's all organic. It is so all like natural. You could eat it. Like there's nothing in it that is going to.
It smells incredible.
No, and that you saw Holland because she wanted to like show you the actual texture and stuff. You need the tiniest bit. So what is encouraged is just to apply it to the body. After, for instance, you've been in a bathing suit and you shower off, you dry off, you apply this just to the outside. This is not an internal product, but you're going to apply this. Sometimes I apply it, after a long, sexy escapade. When I'm menstruating, there tends to be a lot more just fluid around. I will use it then. Definitely if there's been friction. So we will experience often these micro tears, these fissures, and people don't like acknowledge that they're there. And so then the amazing body tries to heal them, and they just get frustrated. So this does nothing to harm the good bacteria in our bodies. It just naturally helps to dispel the bacteria that we don't want there. And God of God, do we love Momotaro and their products and their whole ethic. Guys, oh gosh, now it smells amazing in here.
It smells amazing in here because I put so much on my hands so you could see it. And guys, that literally did my whole left arm. My whole left arm is
it
very
will
happy.
Sometimes have like this beautiful little tingle. Can you feel that? The tiniest
it's almost
bit,
like
peppermint.
If you've ever put like peppermint oil on your skin, it kind of feels like that.
Don't imagine stingy. Think like Tiger Balm refreshing.
Yeah, or like that, what is that stuff that you used to put under your nose? Vicks Vapor Rub.
Yeah.
To a very small degree.
I don't know how to phrase, it's like
refreshing. It's like your skin's taking a nice little breath.
It's amazing. I love it.
And it's so relieving of like itchiness, dryness. It helps with any type of irritation, any kind of razor burn. Yes. It is incredible. Literally, I put it on every day of my life. I'm obsessed with it.
We needed a new box of samples because Holland done used all our samples. That's all I'm going to tell you.
I only used like 4 or 5.
She would just be like, need more samples. No, it's great because obviously we talk about the product.
Okay. All the time. And even this little sample thing will last you so long because you use so little.
It smells so good. I keep them in my bathroom in the little sample ones. I have had a jar before, but I have used the whole jar. It lasts a month, 2, 3. I mean, you just need the tiniest bit.
You just need the tiniest bit.
And it's not like an everyday application thing. It's like every time you use, those who've had a yeast infection know. You start to, something, I can feel the friction. Use it then. Yeah. Use it at the start.
Yeah. I use it like after I shave. I said every day. I don't use it every day. I use it when I shave or on my period. Yeah. It's incredible. You could use it every day if you wanted to. It's so good. It is delightful. Momotaro also makes, we're moving into our medications and supplements. They also make supplements and suppositories for UTIs. That is
the suppository is literally to your left. And I don't think we had any UTI like the actual things, but yeah, they're incredible.
It's just all natural. It's not bullshit. It's not going to work. It's going to work.
So here's what happens with the human body. I love antibiotics for the fact that we need them sometimes. But what an antibiotic does is kill all the bacteria. And so it is also killing the good bacteria that we need in our vaginal flora. And so when you can catch a UTI or a yeast infection pre-need for an antibiotic, you are doing your body such a beautiful big favor. So please hear me, these educators and public health awareness people, we are not telling you to never medicate, to never use an antibiotic. They are necessary in some instances. But when we continue to kill the good bacteria in our bodies, then our bodies have to fight harder. So what we will see is folks take an antibiotic for UTI and then inadvertently get a yeast infection infection because of the fact that it's killing all the good bacteria in their vulva. So we are just encouraging you to be mindful and in tune with your body so that you feel the slightest tinge when you start to urinate. Start taking supplements and a suppository then and see if you can help like boost your body, right? We always say to make informed decisions to lead to value-based living. This would be informed decisions that lead to not having to take an antibiotic.
Exactly. I am someone who anytime I have to take an antibiotic, I literally will tell my doctor, you also need to prescribe me the yeast infection because it's called fluconazole. Because it literally happens every single time for me. Another thing with antibiotics is you can build up a tolerance to them. And the viruses that live in your body, because we all have viruses and bacteria that live in our body, they will build up a tolerance to antibiotics. And you don't want that because
we want our bodies to be able to benefit from antibiotics if we get very sick.
Exactly.
And so if we just are popping the pills, we are going to lead to
exactly.
And again, we are not anti antibiotics. They are lifesavers.
We just don't want to take them all the time.
No, we want to have our bodies respond to them when they need them.
Exactly. The next pill we have two options. These are birth control pills, not birth control. It's the same type of hormones, but emergency contraceptives, also known as Plan B. These are not abortion pills at all. What a Plan B does is it delays your ovulation. So if you're already ovulating, it doesn't work. Gotta let you know. If your eggs have already released, it is already in your fallopian tubes, ready to be fertilized. What this does is it tells your body, don't ovulate, stop ovulating, which is so helpful when you've had intercourse and maybe something's gone wrong, maybe the condom broke. But these are great for when you want to delay ovulation in hopes that you will not become pregnant, which is great. But it is not an abortion pill. Abortion pills get rid of fertilized eggs. These do nothing to fertilized eggs. These just prevent ovulation. So two very different things. But these are great. This one is by Winx, this pink one. And this one is by Julie. We love them both. Julie does this really cool thing. When you buy one is given to someone for free.
Vice versa. Winx does that.
Winx does that. Just kidding. Haha. But they're both beautiful, both great companies, and we love them.
Mm-hmm.
Anything?
You can get most of these from your pharmacy now. Mm-hmm. But Winx you can absolutely get online. Julie, you can too. But Julie, I have seen at our local CVS. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have not seen Winx, but I know you can get them online. And like Colin said, Winx provides, access to that form of contraception, for lots of other people as well at a free price point.
It's beautiful. Lovely. Let's talk about, you want to do the anal toys?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's your first one.
So people ask me all the time if we are a queer affirming sexuality education company, and the answer is yes. I think it's due to, especially my background in musical theater, we have a lot of happily gay clients. And so we do a lot of work on anal training and a lot of work on getting over this idea of the way we have seen anal sex in porn is the way that anal sex is supposed to go. This idea that somebody is going from never having had anal to being thrust into aggressively. Not only is it traumatizing for many people to think about, that is not how it should be. So highly recommend Dr. Goldstein's new book, But Seriously, and we can have a whole episode dedicated to this coming up. But the way we have seen anal training done is not really beautiful, and I really love how he talks about it in this book. But he talks about this 6-week regimen where you are standing up and you are slowly inserting something with maybe one leg up on the side of the shower or just standing. You're lubricating a ton. But one of the things that he really encourages is something with a wide base, yes, flared, but with a wide base, not a skinny base. Helen's going to hold up a traditional cone that you will see for anal pleasure, and you can see how at the bottom it gets skinny again. What this is doing, where's my handy dandy pelvis drawing? Here it is allowing our booty holes
Oh my gosh.
close up around it again, which is what the anal sphincter is meant to do. The vaginal sphincters and the anal sphincters are designed very differently. And so I was really enjoying Dr. Goldstein's new research on a penis, which, just think of a penis in your mind, doesn't go down like this at the bottom before it reaches the human body again. That's not what happens. So I've been thinking a lot about this toy that I've been recommending. You can probably hardly see it, for years and years, because I think it is so great for anal training and for vaginal pleasure. Clean it with soap and water. They are so great. It is glass, so please don't share it with other people, because glass is a naturally porous substance. But so as long as you're using it on yourself and washing it with soap and water and letting it dry, you're good. They also, you can put them in the freezer and then get nice and cold. You can run them under warm water. They can warm to the body. They are so nice. But as you can see, this is graduated and stays pretty wide at the base. It still gets a little bit thinner, but and you could hold. I always, when we were talking about anal pleasure, need you to know it must have a flared base, or you must hold on to it. The body, again, the anus is going to suck something way up in your body, and Lord knows we don't want you, our people watching these videos in the ER saying, well, I heard on a Sex Ed for You podcast. No. Always a flared base and or holding right here on the end, all right? Because vagina and the anus not the same. And also, never, ever, ever put something in an anus and then put it in a vagina.
Nope.
Never. Nope. Never. Not a body part or a toy. Don't ever do that.
Fingers included.
Yep. Nope. Don't do it. Tongues included.
Fingers, mouth, anything.
Anything. Don't do it.
You don't go
do
booty
it.
to
Talk
vagina.
about a way to get yourself a yeast infection.
Yeast infection.
All of the infections. Don't do it. But yes, love this for anal pleasure. Love cones. I will link, I don't have one here, but I'll go ahead and get us one so we can show it. But there are some, I just did a deep dive on Amazon the other day and I found some that I like-ish. I do. They're still not as great as Dr. Goldstein's, but his are all sold out. You can go to futuremethod.com to look at his. But yes, anal pleasure can be wonderful. Let's just say why really fast. For people with a penis, they have a prostate. And so the prostate loves stimulation. It can feel so good. For people with vulvas and vaginas, anal stimulation can do two things. One, it can make the opening of the vagina a little more squished, a little more compact. So if you're doing double penetration, you get all those good feelings inside. And then second, some folks feel that they really are getting stimulation of their clitoris from a completely different angle, like from the back side. So no, we don't have a prostate, those with vulvas and vaginas, but we are stimulating it from behind, from a new angle. And it can always be pleasurable and it's fun. Communication can be really gentle and beautiful. It's a great thing to try. You're always free to try. So we have talked about anal pleasure. We have talked about vibrating devices to assist with penetration. But let's move into toys that are purely for orgasmic fun and pleasure and feel goods.
So these first two are from Dame. We have a bullet, which is clearly named because of its shape. A bullet is always going to be the first thing I recommend. If you've never used a vibrator before, start here. They are typically a great price point, $15 to $30, $30 being like a huge max. My favorite bullet that I have ever gotten, literally from Walmart, was $12. It comes in like blue, pink, and purple. It has a bajillion settings. Some of them sound like Morse code happening on your clit. But you know what? I just stick to the first three and go from there. But I love a bullet. It is honestly my go-to still to this day. They're incredible. You can like really change where it's going. It's very precise vibrations. Like Lauren always says, move it around, put it where you like it. It doesn't have to be directly on the clitoris. That can be really overstimulating for a lot of people with vulvas. But yeah, that's what bullets are great for. Great for starting, easing yourself into some fun vibrations around the clitoris. And then there are things that look like this.
So full transparency, I got this Ava from Dame because I have a lot of clients who will say that they're interested in receiving clitoral vibrations with penetration. And that is what this toy is marketed for, is literally that those legs, this looks like a little bug, right, are to snuggle into, if this is our vagina, and these are our labia, and this is the vaginal opening, literally to snuggle in there. And I am sure for some anatomies, this really does work. There are great reviews on their website. It vibrates so lovelily. There's the vibration. It kind of feels like a purr. All of theirs kind of do, or very purr-like. And rumbly, very rumbly. There are some vibrators that give a very different type of vibration, and it's all you get to decide. But I will say that I tried this, and it was not very pleasurable. And I usually don't like a ton, like Holland was saying. I'm usually one of those who stays in the first 3 vibrations too, and couldn't even feel anything, which is very odd for me. But if you love the Ava, please get back to us. Or if you're just looking, this is the thing about toys with partnered play. We should just get the giggles. They should just be fun. We do not need to take ourselves seriously. I love a bullet too, like Holland was saying. They are a great like beginner toy. They are a great all the time toy. You could throw them in a bag to take on a trip, and they don't take up any space. They do exactly what someone with a clitoris needs. This should tuck up in there when you're having partnered play. Just didn't work on me. But everybody's anatomy is so vastly different that it absolutely could work on someone else. And then should give a good rumble on the bottom to the person with the penis if we had penetration here. Should be great.
Yeah.
Didn't work on me. I should try it again.
Yeah.
But I didn't really love it. So anyway, full
so
disclaimer.
we have those. Those are both from Dame. The link is below to get both of those. Then we have some of our OG favorites, which are from Maude. Maude is a brand that we love here at Sex Ed for You. This tan beige one is Lauren's personal favorite.
Very. This is my baby. It's very well worn. I should get some more office samples so that not everybody is like,
Did you just go up to your bedroom for that? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I
wash it regularly. Yeah, you can talk about that one.
I love this little egg just because it's cute. To be honest, I've never used this one, but I do like her. These are both silicone, medical grade silicone, so not as you don't have to worry as much about any type of bacteria building up on them at all. Clean with soap and water.
Let them dry, air dry.
Let them air dry. Very easily used. I like this green. I'm just talking green. About the aesthetic.
And
here.
This one comes in that same green. This one I love. I've tried so many vibrators. This is the one that stays in my bedside table. I have a bazillion. Because when you turn it on, you can see how it's shaped right now. This vibrates like this, like a finger that's like naughty, like that. And so this part down here vibrates very minimally, but down here, this little wacky finger, yeah, it's so wonderful. I think probably my long body, it's very nice too. I love that depending on where you want greater vibration or less vibration, you could use it, right? You could put this down lower on your body and let it vibrate up. A person holding it on you could play with that too. With myself, obviously, when my arms are up here reaching down, and if I can hold it like this, I can either allow it to put like clitoral stimulation or bring it down, and it's just very handy dandy. Whoever designed this, I give you lots of applause.
I like conical shaped vibrators here.
Yeah, and it washes really easily. It holds a charge for a really long time. That is the other funny thing about using a toy is that sometimes if they are not charged, they die at the most hilarious times, and everyone has a story. And if yeah, so we love a good charge, and this one holds it for a long time. It's water resistant. You could absolutely use it in the water too. Lots of vibrators you can, which is lovely because I always encourage people to use baths. But I love how this one goes like this.
One of my favorites, we don't have it with us today, is called the Thump by Bellesa. And I will link it below. It is very interestingly shaped. I'm going to put it on the screen here for you so you can see it. It has on one side a thumper, which is why I like it. So this one that Lauren has, the Maude one, goes side to side. The thumper that I have goes forward. And so it feels almost, it's like just like a little tap, 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 tap. And it's a very, honestly, very different type of orgasm that it brings. It's super interesting. That one has 3 functions actually. So at the tip, it's just a regular vibrator, has the 3 functions. Then it has the thumper, and then it has a clitoral sucking part on the other side. Now what that does is very localized. It can be super overstimulating. Most people actually don't like those.
Yeah.
I like them only when I'm ovulating. Not even kidding. Like, it's like when I'm ovulating, I'm like, oh, that sounds nice. Any other time, way too overwhelming. So there you go. Cycle track, so you know which type of vibrator to use. It's just...
You know what I'll have folks say sometimes too is that not on a first orgasm, but if it's going to be a longer like sexual playtime, either solo or partnered, because what the body will do is build up like it'll love more and more. And so if you're a person who's going to have a long sexy time with yourself or with another, something like a sucking, but yes, please know that I kind of giggle every time a new sucking device comes out on the market because I'm like, most people don't like those. It's too intense and too localized.
It's
like
so
Helen
small.
was saying.
Like the little, it's about this big, like just maybe the size of a penny.
Yeah.
Very small, very, very small. And so it's like, you have to know exactly where your clitoris is, which enlarges after 20 to 40 minutes. So it is much better in a prolonged experience because it's not something you want to start out with, but I know. No. But at the same time, it is lovely. Yeah. It is so incredible, and it brings very powerful orgasms if your body is like cool with that at that point.
And I want our viewers and listeners to know that maybe try something several different times, like Helen was just saying, over the course of a cycle, over the course of a lovemaking session, because our bodies are so beautiful. Yeah. I invite you not to throw something out just because of a first time experience with one. And play with through layers of clothing too. So I have a lot of clients who will feel shame about loving a vibrator, but through their sweatpants. And no one should ever feel shame about that. That is dispersing the vibrations, and that is lovely. And you've hacked something that lots of people do enjoy it. Multiple levels of clothing. Some folks, it is too much to put direct stimulation right on, especially the head of our clitoris. Y'all remember, the clitoris is a big, fascinating organ that goes down into our bodies.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Which is also why it's great for me and personally to buy tools like the Thump that have multiple functions. So you can try out a sucking, but it also comes with a vibrator and the thumper. So you may end up liking one of those functions more than the other. Like I tend to just go for the thumper. Like I know which one I want. But you get to switch around, and that way you can try like, oh, maybe I do want a bullet because I also like, just the regular vibrations, or, oh, maybe I do want like a sucking tool because on certain days of my cycle, I love that. So it's fun to get ones that are multifunctional. I will link them below, but the thumper is my personal favorite. And I think Bellesa runs incredible sales, especially during December. They did 25 days of sales, and I got it for like $49 when it's typically $119. Yeah. So wait for sales to come around and just like hop on something that you want when those come around.
And we'll help these people sponsor us eventually.
To
that also, I wanted to say, Helen kind of threw in there, it's a very different type of orgasm. Yes, our bodies, people with vulvas, are able to orgasm in many, many different ways. People with penises are too, but the clitoris is just fascinating and deep and hidden. And I just encourage you to set aside times to make love to yourself, because you deserve to know all the different types of orgasms that your body can have. And some devices, as fun as they are, will bring about an orgasm so quickly that in the birth world, we had this term precipitous birth, and it was a really fast birth. And people be like, you're so lucky. And it's like, no, that's really intense. And so I will have some clients come to me and they will say, I do orgasm, but it's not fun. And then they tell me about their process to bring themselves to orgasm. And it is with a very high-powered toy and is straight direct clitoral stimulation. And now your body's starting to equate with the process of pleasure. And so if you find yourself playing with any of the toys we've recommended today, and you're starting to think like, oh, I don't like that.
Like jarring.
Put some barriers between it. Let yourself build to arousal much more slowly. Because the body is a fantastically responsive thing. And so you might have your anatomy might be structured so that you have the head of your clitoris does protrude a little bit more. And so you might be able to reach orgasm very quickly through some stimulation. But I understand if that doesn't feel pleasurable. And anatomy is so fascinating. It's just what works for one person doesn't work for every person. And that doesn't mean anything's wrong with any of us.
No, just get to know yourself. It's really all about that. It's really leaning into what feels good to you. So,
which is why we wanted to share products with you, because you should know.
You should. Let's do some slippery stuff, some lubes.
Yeah.
Get into that.
So the slippery stuff that Helen's got on her very top shelf, we're going to bring it down, is one of the most recommended lubes by gynecologists, obstetricians, sex educators, and has been, look at this bottle. Doesn't this crack you up, this
it's
marketing?
ginormous.
Ginormous. And then it's like it was made in the 80s.
Yeah.
Doesn't it look like
It looks
that?
like a curl cream.
Looks like something your grandma would have on her shelf.
Like, I don't think anybody's ever going to know that this is lube except you, even though it giantly says personal lubricant gel.
It's literally, if you read the reviews, it's like people have been using this for forever. And it's fantastic. It is legitimately slippery. Yeah. What I love is I was telling Holland that I was doing new research about anal sex, because what we were just talking about earlier. And I was really reading that so many water-based lubes have glycerin in them, and that's what makes them slippery. And that if you enjoy anal play, you don't want to have glycerin, because sometimes we get little micro tears, fissures, and sugar in fissures, not a good combination, builds to yeast, okay? But slippery stuff, wouldn't you know?
Glycerin free. Glycerin is sugar, by the way, if you didn't know that.
Yeah.
It is a type of sugar. It's just carbohydrate.
Isn't that just so cool that some of these OG Mama's products
they knew.
have like
made
literally
by women for women.
Yeah.
This is a women-owned
It's been around forever, and it really is great. I have so many clients who use it, and we have big bottles here.
Yeah, this is ginormous, y'all. I mean, like, next to the size of my hand.
So, like,
this is going to last you forever.
My go-to is the Maude lube that's in here, SKYN. It is an aloe-based lube. But look at the size difference. So funny.
Like, literally, this is ginormous.
Put it on your bedside table with pride, my friends, with pride. Or get a little pump bottle and do. The reason I wanted to have this one is I do love a pump bottle, because it's so nice to be able to just pump it in your hand when you're in the middle of some intimacy, as opposed to get a whole bottle out. Yeah. So you can go to Michael's, though, and get really cute, like glass pop bottles.
You know what I've seen? People have this really cute little snail. And so it's like a little snail music coming out.
Lovely.
TikTok.
Anyway, love slippery stuff. It's great. So there are water-based lubes. There are aloe-based lubes. It's like a hybrid is what we'll call them. And then there are silicone-based lubes, which I don't think we had any up here.
We had some in the samples box.
Okay, we have some samples. And let me just talk about silicone lubes. They are great, and they last forever. Okay, forever and ever. Now, silicone lubes, we would traditionally say as sexuality educators that should not be used on silicone toys, because that helps, it breaks it down, the friction over time. And yet, great for body parts, wonderful, and great for glass toys, like we were talking about earlier. Some of the ones that you've heard about for millions of years, there's Astroglide in there.
These are all Astroglide, yeah.
And yet a ton of lubrication companies now are adding CBD and stuff to theirs as well. Here's some silicone, Astroglides. Most of us have seen it in our drugstores for forever. They're fine. They're really fine.
These are CVS.
Just don't use them on your silicone toys. There are some people coming out being like, it's not really breaking it down, but I'm still going to stick by. Don't use it with your silicone toys.
These both have CBD in them. What CBD does in a lube is it's going to help with relaxation of muscles. It does not have THC in it. This is not going to get you high through your genitals. It is from the same plant. I think that's where a lot of people get confused. CBD and THC are two very different compounds, though. CBD is cannabis oil, and it is calming. It is very just like relaxing. It's going to tell your muscles to just calm down a little bit. This is great for people who have pain with insertion, and that's always going to be wonderful. I don't think it's going to make the giantest difference in your life, but it is helpful in ways. I like it personally. Yeah, it's pretty great, but you don't necessarily need to go out of your way to get it, I don't think.
You know what I always think is cute, though, is that, we have CBD oils for massage and all these types of things, and people are like, it's so helped. And I'm like, was it the oil Or was it the fact that you actually got yourself a massage? So, right, like if you're going to be using a CBD oil and you're having your partner massage it on your perineum and massage the sides of your vaginal opening, well, yeah, that's going to help too, my love. Like it's really good for us. So if you want to do that, please do it. Yeah, it's not going to hurt anything by any means. It's going to be great. I don't think in the grand scheme of things, it's going to make the most giant difference. No.
Let's move on to condoms and safer sex practices. We always say safer sex here in this household because there is, gotta break it to you, no such thing as safe sex. Nope. Sex always runs the risk of multiple things. There's infection, there's UTI, which is also an infection, there's pregnancy. Those are all risks at some way, shape, or form. There is a risk to having sex. But we like to promote safer sex here. So that means using protective barriers such as condoms, which is what pretty much everybody is used to. We have a bunch of different kinds with us here today. We've got these Maude condoms. Lauren, you've used these before. You want to talk us through those?
They're pretty. They're pretty. A lot of these condoms, I even wonder if they're made in the same warehouse, and then just packaged in different things. Nothing to write home about. I got some just to have around because I was buying something else, and I thought, I wonder what theirs are like. I was able to break one.
These are latex.
Okay. Because I did the put it on your arm test. I wanted to see like how stretchy it was. And it did break, which is just always nice to know. But it is a latex based condom. We don't have any latex allergies in this house when I was practicing. We also have some, I'm going to duck under the microphone. Nixit sent us some recently.
Are those also latex?
Yep. These are latex, ultra thins with a pure silicone oil.
Okay.
Yep. Feel pretty much, again, I would not be shocked if so many of these condoms are made in the exact same places and put in, for instance, I bet we could look at the people who produce them. But yeah, it is really fun to have different condoms around. You want to talk about some of your favorite brands though? And
So I am a latex free girly. Fun fact, I didn't know I was allergic to latex until I was having consistent sex with someone and we were using condoms and it was not fun. And I was like, okay, do I just hate condoms? Or like, I don't even remember what prompted me to go look into latex free because this was way before I was in the field of sexuality. But I stumbled upon SKYN, SKYN. They are my tried and true. I literally won't use anything else. We may promote these other things, but I only use SKYNs because everything else irritates me. Everything else makes so much friction. That's kind of how I figured out that I was allergic to it. It was a friction that is not just from like tightness and insertion and dryness. It was none of those issues. It was just, oh my God, like it burns. And it was not pleasant in any way, shape, or form. So I religiously use SKYNs. Your public health department likely has them. When I went and got my STI check done, they were like, do you want latex or non-latex? And I said, non-latex, please. And they literally gave me like 20 non-latex condoms, which is incredible. SKYNs are very thin. It is the closest thing I've ever felt to non-protected sex, which is typically what everybody's like, oh, it's the best of the best. But I think that's
what you do with all the things that matters.
Yes. And so SKYNs are by far my favorite. I will recommend them forever. They are just really well done. I've never had one break on me. Maybe I have, but it was also very old. Yeah. Okay. I did have one break on me one time, but it had also lived in my purse for so long that's.
And they do break down over time.
They have an expiration date. Condoms have expiration dates. So make sure you stay on top of looking at those. If it's been sitting in your wallet or your pocket or your purse for a while, just be aware that that might not be the most protective thing ever. There are also sizes. Yep. You can go to onecondom.com. I think that's their site. I'll link it down below. They have a sizing kit that they will send to you, which is really cool. It's girth and length, and they will tell you what your fit is. And so fun. Yeah, because there is no shame in using different sizes.
There is not. And too tight is just as not good as too loose.
Yes.
So no one needs to be ashamed. And yet if you are a penis owner and desire to have penetrative intercourse consensually, you should have some in your wallet at all times that fit you and feel good on you. I have literally had clients say, Yes, I was about to have a sexual encounter and the person with the penis said, yada, yada, let's have sex. And I said to them, do you have a condom? They said no. I said, okay, well, I do, and pulled out the ones I had in the drawer. They said, those are too small. They will not fit me. Do we have to use a condom?
Yes.
The answer is yes, a million times.
Especially if that's how the encounter goes down. Let me tell you, there's something, maybe don't even have sex with them.
That's exactly what I said. I was like, I don't like any of this. Any of this.
I'm too big for that. Mm-hmm. That feels, I mean, okay, maybe it's true. Maybe.
And if it's true, please have some condoms with you if you were hoping to have sex with somebody.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't put that pressure on a person with a vulva who is also not on birth control. That's no.
Yeah, and
not
to be so fucking for real with you, we have vulvas. Why is it my job to have the condom? Right. You know? No. I mean, I'm always going to have them because I'm a safe sex girly pop. Mm-hmm. But that's just like, I just hate how much of the. Anyway,
I do. We all feel that pressure that was put on the person with the vulva as opposed to the penis owner? And yeah, but if you're listening and watching this, you're probably not going to be one of those people. So thank you. Yeah. Thank you for doing that. So yeah, latex and latex free. Mm-hmm. And also, if you're going to be having penetrative intercourse with someone and you don't know about their allergies, have both.
Have both. Honestly, I think non-latex just feel better. Mm-hmm. To be so real with you. Mm-hmm. And I know that that's because I have a latex allergy, but I do genuinely think that they feel nicer. In my personal opinion.
So speaking of latex and non-latex, both of these, so we're about to pull out very fun panties. These are Lorals. And for the longest time, y'all, for the longest time, people who wanted to have oral sex on a vulva had no option except getting a dental dam. Which is used in a dental office. That's why we call it a dental dam. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
And it's basically a sheet of latex.
And you hold it there with your hands. Now, what I wanted to say about these is this is latex and latex free. Yeah. That's why there's 2 boxes, which is so nice. Lorals came around. It was like, wait a second. What if we just made some like really, really stretchy underpant type of things that are super thin, just the same dental dam material, and made them wearable and you could feel things through them? And what if we made some scented ones and some unscented ones and some latex ones and some non-latex ones? And yeah, we love Lorals around here.
They're incredible.
They're so cute and precious. They have this kind of like see-through pinkish color, and then they also have a black one. Mm-hmm. Both are kind of cute. If you love like the whole like leather world and spandex world and all this kind of like stuff, the black is super sexy.
Yeah, these are really actually great for wearing under like sheer items,
like
sheer clothing items, because they look beautiful and leave no panty lines. No panty lines. They are a little bit lubricated. Super thin, very seamless. These are vanilla. I know, but they have like, I don't want to waste
but
it.
that's what it's for. And broadcast it, make it very dramatic. Show people.
I gotta.
They're super cute.
Look at her. So they're very soft. They have this gorgeous little L. I love this wide gusset. It doesn't look like a square, obviously, when you put it on. No. But look at this gorgeous little L on the side. That's so cute. So cute.
You want to, they should not be reusable if you're wearing them for safer sex protection. But you could put them on earlier in your evening and have them on, slide off your skirt.
You can feel literally everything through them. You can put fingers through them.
Look how stretchy they are.
I mean, y'all.
So stretchy.
So stretchy. This is not breaking. No. This is not breaking. And why we want this wide gusset, y'all, is because STIs can 100% be transmitted through oral sex. From the mouth to the vulva or from the vulva to the mouth, either way. And what this does is this covers not only the vulva, but this kind of a bit of the thigh as well. And that gives you more reign to do what you want with your mouth and your fingers without worrying for infection. Oh my God, my hands smell good after touching that.
I know. So I know some people don't like scents, and that's totally fine.
There's
but
unscented.
Some people do. There's unscented. But this allows for digital play and oral play.
Because it will go in.
Look at that.
Yeah.
It like moves.
I mean, if you have pointy fingernails, maybe consider that.
Which, so that's why I was just like, what does it do?
Yeah, I don't think most people who are going down on a vulva, they usually have their two that are short, or they have, all short.
Then no. But I will say I have fingernails right now, and this isn't doing anything, which is really nice. Obviously, this is my very teachable vulva, and do you see how this is still stretching to the sides? But exactly what Helen is saying. We want things to cover all the way over onto the thighs. But yeah, the texture I can't even describe is like so lovely.
It's so soft.
It's so soft.
It's almost like a balloon. Think about a balloon, but really thin, and like you can feel everything through it.
That's how thin it is.
So thin.
That's so nice.
It is beautiful. You can when you touch your fingers through each other, like you can feel it. You can feel like fingerprint through it. It is incredible. These are delightful. This is the first of their kind. They are literally in the Sex Museum in New York, because this is the first thing that has been created like this, because we are just now getting into LGBTQIA love and safer sex practices for people who need things like this. These are also great for rimming and anal play. So these can 100% be used by people of both sexes, because this is wonderful for anal play, which can also transmit STIs. Public health girly pop over here. I just simply cannot. All of the STIs. Because hear me out. One night stand, bring your condoms, bring your Lorals. You're good to go, babe. Yes, there is still risk. There is still risk. But if you bring your Lorals and your condoms and you don't want to have the STI conversation, or you do and you don't necessarily trust it, these are still going to protect you most of the way. This is going to get you 80% there, baby. And that's better than zero. Anything is better than zero.
And we do not say this from a shame perspective. This is why we say safer sex, okay? There is absolutely no shame, and we need to continue erasing the stigma surrounding the transmission. And yet, unknowingly contracting something leads us to unknowingly letting it sit dormant in our bodies, which leads to greater risk in our bodies. And so when we are going to continue to encourage safer sex practices, it's not that one is dirty. If we do concoct something, it's nothing. It's like strep, right? If we had strep throat and we were going to hang out at our friends, we'd be like, I am so sorry I have strep throat. I can't come over. No one thinks of anything about it, but we don't want to knowingly transmit strep. But if we unknowingly transmitted strep, we have things to do. But yeah,
and we need to go get tested.
Yes,
everybody go get tested.
We love and test all the time.
Every 6 months, if you're sexually active, please. It's not scary. Usually the nurses are so kind. If they're not, report them. It's literally the best experience. They'll give you free condoms. If anything, go for the free condoms, babe.
If you're not in a town with clinics on every corner like Manhattan or a bigger city, your local health department is going to
have it. And it's going to be cheap. It's going to be maybe $30 to $50. You know what isn't cheap? Treatment when you've let it sit dormant. So truly going to get tested is the best thing you can do for yourself. We have a podcast episode where I talk about my most recent experience with it. You're more than welcome to go watch that. We give you a little bit of a step-by-step, tell you to treat yourself, give you the whole down low for testing. And honestly, feel free to email us. We'll talk about it. Yeah, it's really important. And it's really one of the best things that you can do for yourself as a sexually active human being. You are not only protecting yourself, you are protecting the people that you're sleeping with.
Yep. And you don't need to only go if you're noticing some form of dysnormal in something in your own anatomy and genitalia. It is perfectly fine to go to prepare for a sexy weekend or just because, or sure, it's been a couple months since you've had a sexual encounter and yet you think that maybe next weekend or in a couple weeks, maybe this person you're talking to on an app might be a potential lover. It's okay to go just to take care of yourself.
Peace of mind. It is priceless, truly.
Truly. It's wonderful.
Okay, well, I think that's all we have for today.
Get through it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is all we have for today.
We did it. Brands, products out there, you are free to send us things for us to review. We do review these things. Like we do actually touch and feel and try. And we will share with you things like, you know what? Non-latex are my favorite. And we reserve the right to do that. we are educators and we are going to speak honestly and truthfully. But to all of our audience out there, if you also have products that you have loved, whether it's a lube or a condom or a toy, feel free to tell us about it. And we will see if we can get them to send us one to talk about on here. But tell us why, and tell us in the comments if this was helpful, and share it with others.
Yeah. How exciting, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We hope this was helpful. We'll probably do an update at some point. We've got some period products coming your way at some point in the future as well. We love
more anal things. More penis toys. Yeah,
exactly. We love all of these items, most of these items. If not, we told you we didn't. And
we're going to boldly do it.
We make some commission on most of these, which is honestly so helpful. So please use our links if you can. This really does help support not only this podcast, but this business.
Yeah, we made $9 from Amazon last quarter.
$9.
So listen, support small business.
Support us.
But yeah, we do. Full
We really
transparency. Some of these links give us a kickback.
And it's incredible. Everything we've talked about today are our experiences, our opinions. You heard a little bit of our little life experiences through those deck cards. And we hope that this is helpful for y'all in whatever way, whatever capacity. We're so grateful for your support. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you next week.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram, sex_ed_for_you. If you want to work with a sexuality educator, if you're like, this is nice, but how would I use any of those things? You can go to sexedforyou.com/free consult. You can request a free consult with me. If Holland thinks that you get the green light, she'll put you through. You and I can chat for about 15 minutes and see if what you are looking for would be a good fit with what I provide. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And again, like, share. We're so glad you're here.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.